Hi guys, it's Jessica, and today's video I wanted to talk to you guys about having that second child or having two kids in the family. I want to share with you the differences and how things really have changed when you have that second child. And it's not all for the bad. And I just want to let you guys know that stick to the end of the video, because if you're thinking about having that second child and you're nervous about if you can handle it, or if you're nervous about the pregnancies or deliveries and stuff, stick to all the way to the end and I'll talk all about it. And I hope it helps you guys with having that second child. So let's get started. The first thing I want to touch on, that the differences between having one and two kids, is that the pregnancies are very different. They kick different, they feel different, they move different, and you can kind of get a sense of their personality when you're pregnant with them. And now that I had two, I know the different personalities, because I know what it's like to carry that child and care for that child when they're born. And I can tell their personalities when I'm pregnant with them. Like, for instance, Sarah, she kicked all the time, and she would kick like a little ninja. That's what I called her, my little ninja, because she would kick so hard. Whereas Hannah, she was very gentle. She didn't kick hard. She did kick, and I knew that there was power behind it, but she never kicked me hard. And those two personalities match exactly who they are when they were born. Sarah's this firecracker. She's loud and rambunctious and rough. And Sarah, she's 6 months old, but I can already tell that she's a quiet, calm, very patient child, whereas Sarah, she's none of those. So I could tell that the personalities are different with being pregnant with both of them. And also their schedules were very different, or their sleeping habits, I guess you can call it that, were very different, because Sarah, she was awake almost all night. And this is towards the end of the pregnancy, like the third trimester. Sarah, my first, she kicked and moved around so much during the night. I couldn't hardly sleep in my third trimester because of her moving, and me can't get comfortable because of the way she was laying and the way she moved. Whereas my second, Hannah, she only moved around a lot, like only one time during the night, and that was around 2 o'clock every night, and it was only like 20 minutes, maybe 15. And she would move around and kick and wake me up, and that was it. And she'd go right back to sleep, and then she would get in a comfortable spot after that, which was surprising. She would get in like this comfortable little spot where it didn't hurt me to lay down, and then I would surprisingly go back to sleep. So I got a lot of sleep on my second child than I did on my first. And I could tell with those personalities as well when she was born. Sarah, she's so hard to go down to sleep at night. I mean, I don't know why exactly. I mean, I have my theories, but maybe she was just born to not being able to be a good sleeper. You know, she hates going to sleep. Whereas Hannah, she goes to sleep relatively easily unless she don't feel good, like her teething or she has gas or something. So surprisingly, those personalities match the actions that happen during those pregnancies. The second thing that's different between the two are the deliveries for these two children. So one delivery is going to be completely different from another delivery, because you have different doctors, you have more confidence with each child, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I know what that is. You know, you're not so scared, because with Sarah, I was scared out of, you know, my wits about having a baby. You don't know what things feel like, you don't know what to do, and I don't know if anybody else this happens to you, but when you're having that first child, it seems like the doctors and the nurses talk to you differently when you're having that first child. They're like so concerned or whatever. They're like, oh yeah, oh no, okay, all right, well, let's take care of this. You know, they're treat you different. And then when you're having that second one, they're like, oh yeah, that happens all the time. Don't you worry about that kind of thing. So the first and second ones, one is scarier than the other one. The first one, for me, was scarier than the second. And that thing is because I knew what was going on with the second one. The epidurals are different, because with Sarah, the epidural did not work for only half. It worked for the left side, whereas I could feel everything on my right. Sarah came out with her hand. She was born with her hand on her cheek. I forget which cheek, but she was born with her hand on her cheek, and that caused a 4th degree laceration for me. And with that being my first, that made things very difficult with the healing and recuperation, and it was so hard and so scary too, so difficult. And I had to push for an hour and a half with her, and then I had that laceration, so I was so tired, and it was like, what is going on? What? And I didn't want to have to deal with a 4th degree laceration right after I gave birth and have to take care of this child. I mean, I couldn't hardly I didn't feel like walking. I didn't feel like getting up. I didn't want to do anything, and the medicine they gave me didn't feel like it worked at all, hardly. So that's what made the first so different from the second, because with Hannah's delivery, everything was so calm. I was induced. I got to sleep the whole night before they induced me. They let me eat breakfast before they started the Pitocin, which was really nice because that was a really good breakfast, and it was a lot of food, so it was really nice to have that. And the lights were down low, and the nurses were way nicer than with the first. I don't know why, but it just seems like they were nicer. They were more supportive. Their voices seemed so nicer and calmer. And the lights was a big difference too. I really liked how the lights were down low. They were dim and everything. So that kind of like calmed me down. With having the bright lights that I had with Sarah, it felt like, you know, I was on stage or something like that. And I really didn't like that. So that was a big difference. So if you're going to have your second child, or if you're thinking about having your first, make sure you ask for the lights to be down low, because it really makes you calm, not so stimulated and so worried about it. So with Hannah's delivery, my second child, the epidural worked. I waited until the contractions were getting so rough and everything, so hard, and then I couldn't hardly take it anymore. And by then I was like 6 or 7 centimeters. So that's when I asked for the epidural, and it worked perfect. It worked on both sides, except towards the end where we were at like that 10th centimeter and it was time to start pushing. I did feel that, and I could feel the urges and the tightness and everything like that. And I could feel Hannah being born and everything. So, but that was okay, because I didn't have to endure it for like, what was it, like 5 or 6 hours that I was, you know, having those hard contractions. I only had to push like 20 minutes or something like that, and it was a lot easier with Hannah on my second. And another thing that the deliveries were so different from one another, my body knew what it kind of like with the second. It felt like my body was like going back into like that pilot mode. You know, they were like, okay, my body knows what to do now. It was a lot faster, a lot easier, and a lot less stress and everything like that. So having your second child, your body kind of like knows what's going on, and so it kind of like kicks in and knows what to do. So that's another big difference between the two pregnancies. One was the first, and it kind of, you know, didn't know what was going on, and then the second one, it was a lot easier because my body was like, hey, we know what's going on. We've done this before. And so that makes things a lot easier when you're going in for that second child. And the third thing that's different between having your first and second child is that the children are different. Their personalities are different. Their voices are different. They look different. They react different to you. And because Sarah, I'll just list off a name of things that's between Sarah and Hannah. Sarah, my first, was terrible at nursing. She did not want to nurse. I don't know if it was her temper that, you know, because I told you about when I was pregnant with her, how she would be kicking me all the time and how she doesn't like to go to sleep and stuff. So she was not good at nursing. I don't know if it was because she was impatient or she wanted things a different way or something like that. I don't know, because she was not good at nursing. Whereas Hannah, she was better at nursing. She really was. And she was, you know, patient and not fussy and everything. So she was a lot better nursing baby than Sarah was. Sarah, my first, she cried all the time. I don't know why. She just cried all the time. She just could not be happy. Whereas Hannah, she was quiet baby. She was so quiet. I was worried that something was going on with her. I was like, Jeremy, what's going on with Hannah? She's not crying. I'm not used to this. So the two babies were different in that way. And like I said, Sarah did not like going down for sleep. And she didn't sleep all night until she was 1 year old. She kept waking up like 4 or 5 times a night. And that happened literally every night until she was 1. Whereas Hannah, my second, she is easy to go down. If I put her down and I put on her little nighttime music that fades out throughout a couple minutes, she'll go to sleep. And she'll go to sleep by herself. I don't have to rock her or anything. Unless it's during the day, I do have to give her a bottle and rock her. But then she'll go, if I put her down, she'll go to sleep then. But Sarah and Hannah are two completely different. And Hannah, she has started sleeping through the night when she was 3 weeks old. And that was so nice, because then I slept all night. I got my rest. I recuperated faster with my second pregnancy, and probably because I was able to sleep more because Hannah started sleeping through the night. And another thing that the babies are too different from one another, Sarah hated her car seat. I mean, she couldn't stand it. She would cry when we started putting her in it. She would start crying before we even started buckling her in the car seat. She did not like it at all. And she's still not a big fan of car seats. She hates putting on the seatbelt because she can't really put it on there. But she's not a big fan of car seats. Whereas Hannah, she loves her car seats. I put her in there in the hospital for the first time, expecting her to freak out like Sarah did. But she didn't mind at all. She laid there and she fell right to sleep in the car seat. And she still does that at 6 months. If I put her in there and she's sleepy, like if we're out shopping somewhere or if we're out visiting family and she gets sleepy, I put her in her car seat and she'll calm right down. And sometimes she'll even fall asleep in the car seat. So the babies were different with their car seats as well. And I have another list that these are the things that I wish I knew when I was having Sarah, the things that I've learned with my second pregnancy. This is what I wish I knew when I was having my first. It's okay to let babies cry for a little bit, because most of the time they're probably just crying just to have you hold them and stuff. So I learned that with my second, I had to put her down a lot of times. To put her down, I had to put her down like in a swing, or had to put her in a little bed or something like that, and put her down to either take care of Sarah or get dinner ready or do a house chore that really needed to be done quickly. So, and then most of the time Hannah stopped crying, and then she would calm down on her own. And that told me that, oh, it's okay. I can put her down if she's crying. If she's crying, I just need to wait 5-10 minutes and see what's going on and see if she calms down then. Because a lot of the times she calmed down. And I didn't do that with Sarah, my first. I kept picking her up. I always picked her up. If she cried, I always picked her up. I always either burped her, gave her another bottle or something. And that was what I did. And that really put a stress on me because I couldn't do anything. I had baby on my hip all the time. Whereas now with Hannah, if she starts crying and I got to do something, I'm okay. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't stress me out because I know I'm going to come right back. And she's learned too that she'll only cry for like a minute or so because she knows I'm coming right back. And that's what I wish I knew when I had Sarah, that I could put her down. It's okay. I'll come get you. I gotta go put the load of laundry in the dryer. I'll be right back. And I never did that. And I wish I did know that when I had my first. And the second thing that I've learned with having my second child is that it's nice to have a little extra help from that first child. And it's okay for them to help you. It's a wonderful feeling to know that, I can ask Sarah, can you go put this in the trash for me? Or, Sarah, can you go get Hannah's pacifier for me? It's in her swing. Stuff like that. And then I ain't got to keep getting up or looking for stuff. She can go pick up whatever I need for me, within reason, as long as it's not where she can't reach it. And Sarah also helps with reading books to Hannah. Hannah likes it when somebody reads to her, and it keeps her quiet and calm, whereas I can go do that chore. I can put Hannah down. Sarah's there to help me. I can put her down and go do something like start start fixing dinner, do the laundry, put the dishes away and stuff like that, I have Sarah to help me. And she'll not only read books to her, she'll like show her things and make her laugh and have fun and have a little doll and play with it in front of her and stuff like that. And that really helps out a lot. Having a, you know, somewhat babysitter sort of that Sarah can help me out with. The third thing I learned with having my second child is that Sarah, my first, can do some chores for me. She can help me out with the laundry. She can help me out with putting the clean dishes away in the drawers. She can help me put the dirty dishes in the dishwasher, and within reason. You know, I can't let her hold the sharp knives and stuff like that, but she can put all of her stuff away, all of her cups and stuff. I put them where she can reach, where she can put them away. And not just that, she can help me with the dust buster. I've been meaning to get a miniature vacuum cleaner for her so she can help me vacuum, and I know she would love that because she loves vacuuming. She helps me put the cord away with the vacuum cleaner. She helps me twist the cord around and everything, so she loves to help. She is a big time helper, and if I just train her and show her how to do something within her reaches and stuff like that and her abilities, she can do it. And that's all I need. And it's so nice to have an extra pair of hands to help me out when I have a 6-month-old that starts crying and needs me. And the fourth thing that I was so happy to learn with having my second child is that my first, Sarah, is a lot happier having somebody her age. She is so excited when it's morning time and she sees Hannah. She's like, "Good morning, Hannah," and she starts playing with her through the crib rails and stuff like that. Starts showing her all these things and then talking about what she dreamed last night. It is really nice and surprising that she is a lot happier. She reads to her, plays with her, and she cares for her whenever something is going on with Hannah. She is very concerned with Hannah. She really loves Hannah. And Sarah, my first, is such a social butterfly. She loves to talk. She loves to, oh, that's Hannah. She's waking up. She is such a social butterfly. She loves to talk. She loves to show people things. She likes to share. She likes to sit beside people and play. So when Hannah gets a lot older, she'll love to have that child to play with and somebody her age that she can communicate with. That was something that I was so happy to learn with having my second child. And for the last notes of this video, to put it short, I thought I wasn't going to be able to take care of 2 kids. And I thought it was going to be just as scary having a second child along with my first, like I was, like the delivery. But, you know, the 2 deliveries were different. The second one was a lot easier, and having that second child is a lot easier. Their personalities are different. She sleeps better. She laughs a lot. She's a lot happier child than my first. And my first is a lot happier having my second there with her. And things are a lot easier with my first helping me out a lot. And that really does make a big difference between having 1 and 2. So that having that second child is a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Oh, Hannah's waking up. So if you're worried about having that second child, you know, the stresses or worries that come along with it, and I hope this video helped you guys out and not made it so scary for you guys. It's not so bad as you think it is. So I hope you guys like this video. I hope it's helpful for you guys. Leave a comment down below with any of y'all's experiences, things that were different from your second to your first child. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.